Oh, whoa, are we live? Okay, yeah, now we are. All right, guys, we are live.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
We got some ministry.
A new world order. A new world order. A new world order.
Ministry, new world order. Blind Dude says, have you looked up ministry now? They're all a bunch of angry faggots. Yeah. Yeah. Same with Dead Kennedy. Joe Biafra is like a little fucking tool. A little Democrat tool. All of our heroes turn to shit, huh? They think that they can sway us into their cult by corrupting our heroes. But their music lives on. Yeah! We got a great show for you guys. We're going over a lot of stuff. We have big tech, Facebook, Google, censoring, Donald Trump's assassination plot. We have some updates on the Trump shooting itself. Did you guys know? The shooter appeared in Black Rock commercials. Yeah, it's true. What happened? Police and Secret Service are pointing fingers at each other, both saying that each other are at fault. But what's important, what we know, right and wrong, is that law enforcement was inside the building where the shooting happened. There's a new world order. It's human right.
That same mistake. A new world order. A new world order.
We're going to be looking at the election. Joe Biden is going to do it.
A new world order.
So that's what we're here for. To laugh at Joe Biden. But I have so much news. This is going to be a long one, guys.
A new world order. A new world order.
What's going on, y'all? It's me, Space McG. I'm your favorite cartoon nerd with the news, and I'm back at it again doing my thing. Oh, I'm just a little crooked. There we go. All right. Yeah, you know what we do. You guys know what we're doing, and we do it every day. What's going on? We have a great crowd starting to form out here, out in video world, video land. What are you guys doing? Let's see. We got SD up in the house, my guy. Hey, we're going to be talking about the Philippines, SD. Looks like tensions between the Philippines and China are starting to simmer down. That's good. We're going to be looking at that, buddy. We have Girl Gone Dog. She's not having a good day, it sounds like, in the chat. Frank Totten. What are you doing, buddy? Making jokes. You always got jokes, don't you? We've got more SD, more Frank. We've got Tam Tam. What's going on, Tam Tam? Blind Dude, my man. I love carrot cake. SD. I love carrot cake. We've got Joker Fish. Hey, what's going on? You saw Ministry? That's fucking awesome, bro. Jets, what's going on, buddy? We got Felix the Cat up in the motherfucker. We got Anthony. Oh man, I can never see that. And I can never say it right. I have no idea how to say it. Mendalola. You're so hungover. Oh, I'm sorry. SD says more fake ass theater in regards to talking about the Philippines and China. That's actually one of my first stories tonight because we do have good news. Now we're also going to be looking at some Kamala Harris cringe shit, right? So that's going to be fun. There's a lot of Trump derangement and Kamala Harris cringe, and that's going to be hilarious. As you can see, we are, we're waiting for the president to show up. They did move the whole thing to 4:30, so I had to move it a little bit. But, yeah, we expect him to be probably on time. Normally for these kind of events, he's on time because he wants to go home, right? He wants to be done with it and back on the plane, back to his beddy by 6, 7 o'clock. It's pretty late in the day for the president, actually. So I expect there to be a lot of speech slurring, a lot of confusion about names and places and dates and numbers. He's not going to be in his best form, and that's what we all hope to see. We hope to see him reap the consequences of the lies and the misdeeds that he has sown by stealing the election, by cohorting with China in order to create a novel coronavirus in order to, the thing with the election. Yeah, we all know. We all know how that went down. And, yes. So now I think it's fitting that we get to watch the old man deteriorate before our eyes. Let's see here. We got Jeffrey Fern. We got Usi. What's going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a good day, a good time out there. We have, you guys know, there's so much bad things going on that we have to take time and remember that there are so many good, wonderful things that happen in this world every day. Hey, we got Michael King up in here. Yeah, there's so many good and wonderful things that happen in this world every day. Things like this. Guys, things like this. Here we go. Yes, good things happen every day, guys. The world is so full of awesome, wonderful things, and it's good to remember that, right? And there are amazing people in this world doing good things, and good things are happening every day, and you just never know. You just never know, guys. Here we go.
Firefighters rescued a cat from a burning home in Tarzana. The owner was overcome with emotion, falling to his knees, hugging his cat, giving it water. That fire started last night near West Topham Street. Fire and smoke were seen coming from that roof. After some time, crews did manage to put that fire out. No other injuries were reported. But you can see there, all the material stuff can be replaced. He just wanted his cat.
Right. Yeah, very, very nice of those firefighters to really help rescue that cat.
Yeah. No, well. And, you know, good things are happening. China watches Philippines resupply grounded warship. This is as opposed to the Chinese, attacking those ships as they try to resupply. So it's good to see a more peaceful world coming out over in China. Now, it may not be what it seems, right? But I see this as progress. This has been something that has been scary to me. Now, the Philippines on Saturday delivered fresh troops and supplies to 2nd Thomas Shoal as Chinese forces observed from nearby in the first such mission since the neighboring countries announced an understanding to de-escalate tensions at the contested reef. A government commissioned civilian vessel, the MV Lapu-Lapu, made the delivery while escorted by the BRP Cape Engano, a 144 Philippine Coast Guard cutter. The mission concluded without incident, according to a statement from the Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs. Now, this is good news because in previous months, when the Philippine Navy and Coast Guard or whatever has tried to resupply their people at that abandoned ship or wrecked ship or whatever, however you want to describe it, I guess they said a grounded derelict ship, right? Every previous attempt to resupply these people has gone with more escalating violence. Every time the violence has gotten more and more severe to the point where the last confrontation ended with a Filipino losing his thumb when Chinese fucking pirates boarded the ships with swords. Yes, that really happened. Axes and swords. So where's Southport? Southport is in North London. I know that doesn't make any or North England. I know that doesn't make any sense. We're going to be talking about it today. We're going to be talking about that. It's many stories back though. Yeah. So we will be talking about that because it kind of ties into another story. Now, what, Michael? Does anybody know what they're talking about? Like, is it terrorism over in England? From what I heard, it was a 17-year-old kid, but I don't know. Now, this actually is in the wrong spot. Okay, there we go. All right. Next. Okay, so everyone has been tweeting about this, right? Everyone's talking about this. Donald Trump is being censored from Google and Facebook. Now, I told you last week when I tried to find the photograph of Trump and the flag with his fist up, you know, that iconic photograph on Google Images, I couldn't find it. Last week, I couldn't find it. And now people are coming out and saying that Google has a search ban on President Donald Trump election interference, right? So that's Elon Musk saying that, right? This is insane. And you have a search ban on so many accounts you don't like. That's true. That's true. Elon Musk is no paragon for free speech. He's no savior. He's no altruist, right? Islamic guy that done it? I don't know. Yeah, he's 17 and an Islamist. A silent takeover? That's what you think, SD, in the Philippines? SD knows. He lives there part of the year. So he works and lives there, guys. So he knows what's going on there. Kids, yes. I'm hearing it was 3 little girls dead. And up there, maybe up to 6 little girls in total. Yeah. Terrifying. Terrifying. Elon says I'm gonna... Oh, that's Elon Musk parody. Yeah. Elon says they're getting themselves into a lot of trouble if they interfere with the election. Here's one. The same party that says Trump will destroy democracy just installed a presidential candidate that not one primary voter voted for. Look at this. Now here you go. Now, even Newsweek is saying that it's true. Is Google blocking Donald Trump assassination attempt? And it goes on to say, Newsweek has confirmed that mentions of the July 13th shooting do not come up on Google, even when assassination attempt of TR are typed in. Instead, the first result of the autocomplete feature is the attempted assassination of former President Harry S. Truman in 1950. Right? Now, I can confirm this, guys. Right? When I type Donald Trump and just type Donald Trump into Google, the first thing that comes up is Donald Trump is 78 years old. Right? Which actually plays into the current talking point from the DNC, which says that Donald Trump is too old to be president. So when you type into Google Donald Trump, the first thing that comes up is Donald Trump is 78 years old, thus reinforcing the narrative that Donald Trump is the oldest person ever to run for president. Do you understand how that works? Now, right? Donald Trump net worth, right? But assassination does not come up, right? And now if I type it, right? Nothing. It doesn't do anything, right? If I type Donald Trump assassination. So this is 100% confirmed, right? If you want to find Trump info, use Google. The kosher Google. Is that a real thing? That's awesome. Ass, yes. Yeah, so this is all confirmed, guys. And Libs of TikTok is saying that. Even if you type the entire word, no results come up. Right? And we just tried that ourselves, and we can confirm that the same thing happened for us. Right? The president is running late now, guys. But that's okay. Now, so everyone is confirming this, and it's not surprising, because when we look at the donor contributors to former Vice President Joe Biden and President Donald Trump's candidate committees in 2020 election cycles, right? We see that the number one contributor to Joe Biden was Google, Alphabet Incorporated, at $1.7 million. Followed by the University of California, the U.S. government, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, right? AT&T, Wells Fargo, Walt Disney, and it keeps going on and on and on. In fact, the Democrats' lowest corporate donation at J.P. Morgan of $393,000 is higher than Donald Trump's corporate at U.S. Postal Service at $240,000. So, Donald Trump's biggest donation is $100,000 smaller than the Democrats' smallest donation from corporations, right? Right? And so it should be no surprise to you to understand that Meta Facebook is now labeling the photo of President Donald Trump immediately following the assassination attempt as altered and is preventing it from being seen on their platform. Right? So, guys, this is the world we live in, right? Where unedited, right? Unedited, unfiltered, completely in context videos of Joe Biden being fucking a dementia patient on TV are being called deep fakes or cheap fakes, right? And unedited live images of President Donald Trump are being called deep fakes, right? And they're being altered. These are altered images, right? It's all fake, right? Nothing to see here, guys, right? Why is taxpayer money really, why is taxpayer money given to them? I don't know. I think that both political parties get federal contributions, right? In order to, like, make the elections more fair or something, right? Right? I think both political parties get contributions from the government, right? Yeah, I think that's how that works, right? And they have to have like a certain threshold of electoral votes won in a previous election before they are eligible for federal funds or whatever. Hey, what's up, Grogun Dog? SD says, Trump is a real person, but everything else about him is fake. That's definitely an opinion. All right, let's see here. Now, speaking of Trump, Trump agrees to an FBI interview about the assassination attempt. The totally fake assassination attempt where this image has been digitally altered. Donald Trump has agreed to a formal victim interview with the FBI about the assassination attempt on him earlier this month, right? It comes as bombshell text messages between counter snipers suggest they were aware of gunman Thomas Crook's presence 90 minutes before he opened fire. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris is narrowing her running mate choices with 99 days to go until the presidential election. And Joe Biden has called for an overhaul of the Supreme Court, which we are also going to talk about. Now, yeah. Now, Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner reveals a stunning detail about Trump's shooting, right? And here we go.
There is new video out offering new perspective on the moments after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. A warning, you may find some of this video disturbing. Body cam footage showing officers on the roof after Thomas Crooks was shot and killed. And in the 3-minute video, they're discussing when they first saw the shooter and how one sniper took a photo of him, but also lost sight of him later.
So this is the guy that
yes, that they sent yes, Beaver County sniper scene and sent the pictures out. This is him.
Okay. The bike in the back. Is he on that bike?
We don't know.
We don't know. So
I
we're
don't
just
know.
treating that as suspicious device.
Oh, 1 second. I believe the sniper that seen these and sent the pictures is right inside his building.
Joining us right now is former Secret Service agent, CNN law enforcement analyst Jonathan Rockwell. Jonathan, what do you see in this video?
Well, what I see in here is actually what we've been talking about all along, which is a breakdown in communication. When you have local law enforcement,
see how they're trying to
micro
spin it?
communication point.
No,
to
no,
point
it was a breakdown
around
in communication,
a suspicious
guys.
person or a threat.
It wasn't malice and forethought and planning and conspiracy that led to all this. It was a breakdown of communication. Yeah, they just couldn't talk to each other, man. Right? Like, one agency didn't know what the other agency was doing, and somehow two of the most elite fucking teams in the state at that time, right? The elite security teams, fucking the state SWAT team and the Secret Service somehow let an effeminate-looking, nerdy young boy walk around the place like he owned it, like fucking scope shit out, fly fucking drones over it, everything, right? Somehow, yeah, and it was just a communications breakdown. It had nothing, there's no way that anyone was malicious here.
That's not being broadcast to the entire law enforcement stakeholder group at the site. That right there is a problem. What we heard through testimony yesterday was that officers that were assigned to cover, basically an overwatch position, to cover this point of vulnerability, this roof, they actually left their post to go address the threat or go try to find the threat somewhere else. So what we're seeing here, coming out through this investigation are two main themes. It's roles and responsibility were not clearly articulated from the Secret Service to local law enforcement around the criticality of their posts and their responsibilities, and two, a breakdown in communication, whether it was communication from law enforcement to the Secret Service, or how messages were prioritized between the law enforcement groups centered around specific threats that were identified.
All right. What's going on in the chat? Let's see here. Deep state involvement. We will see soon. We will see. Maga is Latin for witch. You are under a spell. Oh, haha. Let's see. Hey, what's up, KP? I'm just reading the chat. Okay. Yeah, seems like people are arguing in the chat. Yeah, technically SD is my first viewer ever. He was the first one to ever come into the stream. Technically. And I converted his ass, which is amazing. All right, let's see here. Now, what makes this thing get weirder, guys, is BlackRock. Okay. Trump shooter appeared in 2022 ad for BlackRock, the sprawling firm conspiracy theorists think runs the world. The Trump rally shooter's appearance in a 2022 BlackRock ad is fueling conspiracy theory talk online. Well, do you think? Really? Do you think that this kid showing up in a BlackRock ad, right? Like, what are the odds of that? What are the odds of that? This kid being in an ad for one of the biggest, like, wealth managers in the world. let's see here. Yeah, I made you a mod. Yes, you're a mod. Let's see. Now, BlackRock has been at the center of sprawling conspiracy theories that suggests it is behind a myriad of woes within the U.S. It has faced accusations ranging from pushing the COVID agenda to claims that the firm is buying every single family home in the U.S. Now, you see how they twist things? They're not buying every single home, but they are buying up a large portion of the available market, you know, as it becomes available, right? Hey, what's up, Kathy? We're just talking about this kid being in a BlackRock ad, the same kid that shot Trump. Isn't that weird? They promised him millions. Is that what you think, Andrew? How does that even happen, guys? I don't know. Like, what are the odds, right? No, it can't be a coincidence. This is too coincidental, right? There are coincidences, there are conspiracies, and then there's what we have here right now, right? Like, this is far too odd for it to be just something that just things like this just don't happen, right? Pull up LS Productions video. It shows open windows and also Secret Service yells to everyone, put the phones away. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm not going to pull up somebody else's video, but I believe it, right? Why pay them when you can off them? I agree. What's this? Yes, I'm sure. Go to site. I already seen this one.
But that's before.
All right, here we go. We got a video. I saw this earlier, but I'll play it.
Before I discovered a brain.
A brain is meant for everyday use. Those living with moderate to severe stupidity have seen immediate improvement in common sense with a brain.
I thought the government had my best interests at heart, and then a friend told me about a brain.
Talk to your doctor about what news sources you obey. A brain may also lower your desire to take life-altering advice from celebrities.
Getting lectured about my carbon footprint from people with 3 private jets used to make sense. Thanks to a brain, now I can think for myself every day.
But thanks to
when
a
my
brain,
disregard for third-grade biology began to flare up, I knew it was time for a brain.
Do not try a brain if you're allergic to a brain. Common side effects may include accountability, discernment, homeschooling your kids, a better understanding of economics, awareness of the stupidity of socialism, and diarrhea.
For tethering yourself to reality, the only no-brainer is choosing a brain. Ask your doctor if a brain is right for you.
That's funny. The only no-brainer is choosing a brain. That's hilarious. Hey, what's up, hillbilly? Yeah, I saw this one earlier today. Okay, now. Guys, and here's the thing, is they're not done. Here we go. From Twitter. Trump in Nashville, it's my turn, and you know they call me Miss Not Gonna Miss Shit. Miss Not Gonna Miss Shit. And there's a picture of a gun. So they're already threatening to shoot Donald Trump again. And nothing will happen to these people, right? Nothing's going to happen to these people. In a normal world, this person's house would have already been raided. If something horrible was about to happen and you could stop it, would you? Absolutely not. You're hired. FBI. Yeah, I know. They're stupid, Uzi. They are. All right. Speaking of stupid, this is President Joe Biden announces a bold plan to reform the Supreme Court and ensure no president is above the law. Speaking of the president, where is he? He's late. I didn't think he was going to be this late. Luckily, I came prepared. Now, okay. In the face of this crisis of confidence in America's democratic institutions, President Biden is calling for 3 bold reforms to restore trust and accountability. This is in the Supreme Court. No immunity for crimes a former president committed in office. President Biden shares the founders' belief that the president's power is limited, not absolute. Yeah, no, it is limited. We have checks and balances, right? So, no, it is limited, but he also has a certain degree of protection. Like, this has already been decided before. I don't know why we had to go to the Supreme Court for this again. But, yeah, no. The president has immunity for crimes he commits as president. Right? He's proposing a no one is above the law amendment. Well, that's not going to fly. Do you know how hard it is to get an amendment passed? It has to be ratified in all 50 states. Right? Like, all 50 states have to vote for it. So, good luck with that. Term limits for Supreme Courts. Yeah, he wants to protect the Constitution by radically changing it, guys. What a great president. What a great defender of democracy. They defend democracy by rigging elections, right? And they defend the Constitution by gutting and changing it, right? Term limits for the Supreme Court. Congress approved term limits for the presidency over 75 years ago, and President Biden believes they should do the same for the Supreme Court. The United States is the only major constitutional democracy that gives lifetime seats to its high court justices. Yeah, and we're the only, what do they call it? We're the only major constitutional democracy, right, that has equal protection under the law, that has freedom of speech, that has freedom, the right to bear arms, right? And I think that the two are closely tied to each other, right? Because if these guys had to be elected, right, then they would have their loyalty would lie to their constituents instead of to the Constitution. So that's why we give them lifetime appointments, right? Hey, Dennis, what's up? Yeah, so I think that term limits for the Supreme Court is a bad idea. And, again, it's going to take a constitutional amendment to change it, right? And finally, binding code of conduct for the Supreme Court. Now, they can pass that. Like, if Congress passes that, then that will be the law. But I don't know. Because the Senate gets to write its own rules of conduct, right? The House gets to write its own rules of conduct, right? The executive office gets to write its own rules of conduct. So why should the president be able to tell the Supreme Court how they should conduct themselves, right? This sounds like tyranny to me. SG says, this will of the people should be the only supreme anything. Too bad we are all corporate collateral with no power. Yeah, I mean, that's true to a certain extent. Representative government, you literally give up your authority to another person who then goes and acts in what they assume is your best interest, right? Huh. Okay, yeah, let's see. Where is the president? We're just waiting for him to come out, and he will never come out. Right? Still not out. He is now a full half hour late. Hey, what's up, holy harlot? What are you guys talking about? Eating? Now, a SWAT sniper. Hold on. Let me get to the right thing here. A SWAT sniper at the Trump shooting said his team wasn't briefed and had no communication with the Secret Service. See, this thing is just more bullshit. More bullshit, right? Right? SWAT snipers at the July 13th attack against Trump say they didn't have contact with the Secret Service. They told ABC for the first time that they communicated with agents on the ground. They communicated with agents on the ground. That the first time that they communicated with agents on the ground was after the shooting. Meanwhile, New York Times published texts that show the snipers spotted the gunman hours before the shooting. So the SWAT team knew the guy was dangerous, right? Had no communication with the Secret Service. The Secret Service were almost incredulously ignorant of the occurrences on the ground there with this guy out here being a threat, right? I want Arby's too, Anthony. Now you guys are making me hungry. Ah, man. Why you gotta do that? Everybody's talking about duck and Arby's. I wish I had some Arby's. Or some duck. All right. Now, the local SWAT team said that they were supposed to get a face-to-face briefing with the Secret Service members whenever they arrive, and that never happened. The lead sharpshooter on the Beaver County, Pennsylvania SWAT team told ABC News. So I think it was probably a pivotal point where I started thinking things were wrong because it never happened, he said. We had no communication. So normally they're supposed to have a meeting with the Secret Service before the president shows up, but that never happened here. And what do you know? A few hours later, Donald Trump got shot in the ear. Crazy. I don't know, Uzi. I don't know how the snipers decided to go on the roof. Oh, tacos. You guys are making me hungry. God damn it. God fucking damn you.
One of the guys, and we just became part of history, and not in a good way.
The SWAT team from Beaver County, Pennsylvania knew something about the scrawny young man seemed off. He can be seen in this video obtained by ABC affiliate WTAE skulking around former President Trump's rally. Text messages between local snipers show they noticed Thomas Matthew Crooks at 4:26 p.m., nearly 2 hours before the attempted assassination that would injure Trump, kill a man, and severely hurt 2 others. "You see me go out with my rifle," one of the snipers texted, "so he knows you guys are up there." By 5:14 p.m., they grew suspicious.
He was looking up and down the building.
That's like an hour before Trump got shot.
Just wandering around, and it just seemed out of place.
Greg Nichols snapped these photos of the shooter.
We had a text group between the local snipers that were on scene. I had sent those pictures out to that group and advised them of what I noticed and what I'd seen.
What do you think is transpiring once you send in what you've sent in?
I assumed that there would be somebody coming out to speak with this individual or, find out what's going on.
Yeah,
So how do you know if Greg's concerns about crooks are being relayed properly?
We don't. We have to assume that when he put that information out to command, that command took that information and did something with it.
So they are under the assumption that the Secret Service had already been informed about this individual, right? But they hadn't, or they claim to not have been, right?
We don't know if they did.
None of the concerns appears to have reached members of Trump's Secret Service detail. The Washington Post reports they've complained they were never made aware of the warnings. In their first public comments about the assassination attempt, members of the Beaver County SWAT team described to ABC News what they consider to be failures of planning and communication that would prove catastrophic.
We were supposed to get a face-to-face briefing with the Secret Service snipers whenever they arrived, and that never happened.
Okay, yeah, we already read all this stuff. Okay, yeah, so there you go. There you go. Very suspicious, guys. Very suspicious. Speaking of suspicious, doubts cloud Venezuela's election results as both Maduro and the opposition declare victory. The U.S. and other nations earn verifiable election results as the opposition vows to not rest until the will of the people of Venezuela is respected. Yeah. So, another shady election happened in South America. Who's shocked? But the people in, here we are. This is like a half hour or 90 minutes ago, right? In Caracas, Venezuela, right? And people are pissed. So here they are mobbing. Look at all those people. Look at all those people in the streets. There are tens of thousands of people about ready to mob all over the fucking Capitol. And here's some more. Here's the police now trying to stop them. Something. I don't know what's going on. This is all crazy. This is Caracas, Venezuela, after the election. Right now. This is happening right now. Well, 25 minutes ago. Here's right now. Oh, it's gone bad. So it looks like the Maduro government has dispatched police to the streets of Caracas in order to quell the uprising, because they stole the election, right? And here we are live. Oh, we got
Good afternoon.
President Biden coming out.
I'm Mark Updegrove, the President and CEO of the LBJ Foundation. Welcome to our commemoration of the 60th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Yeah, Biden voted against the school busing, right? Remember, he doesn't want his kids to grow up in a racial jungle.
A huge thank you to the Houston Tillotson Choir, to Ruthie Foster, and to Brian Cranston for introducing this in such a grand manner.
Looks like he's being introduced. We want to go back to this. So here we are in Caracas, Venezuela. And it looks like the police have gassed and beaten all the protesters. They said there'll be no revolution today. It looks like military. I don't know. I don't know if those are protesters, if those are police, those are military. I don't know. Holy Harlot says they stole the presidency in the United States and no one gives a shit. Yeah. Hey, this is kind of what they did when we uprised against our stolen election. Isn't that funny? Remember Ashley Babbitt, guys. Remember Ashley Babbitt. Oh. Yeah, crazy. That's crazy. Okay, so here we are back with this fucking moron.
Served, marginalized, and adversely affected by persistent poverty and inequality.
Oh, yeah.
Among the many things he has done is to appoint the first black woman, Ketanji Brown Jackson, to the U.S. Supreme Court.
You guys know that Republicans tried to put women on the Supreme Court, black women on the Supreme Court, and the Democrats voted against it. Joe Biden himself was, I believe, one of the major votes against putting a black woman on the Supreme Court. Isn't that amazing?
And to choose as his running mate, Kamala Harris, the first...
I also worry about our upcoming election, Pappy.
The first black woman, South Asian American to hold the vice president.
Whatever she is. She's the first one of them.
To President Biden for his policy to bolster voting rights, which have been severely weakened since Lyndon Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act in 1965, and for all of his efforts to return
the only thing we're trying to
nation
limit
to
the voting
democratic
rights of is
norms
illegal
and
immigrants,
values
buddy.
that provide ballast to our great republic. Dr. Martin Luther King said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. America is at its strongest when justice prevails."
That reminds me of
And
that
when the
video
winds of
game
change make our
Mercenaries, too.
country more united, more inclusive, more righteous. The Civil Rights Act we commemorate today, as well as the Voting Rights Act and Fair Housing
Oh, the
Act,
fake
all
pipe bomb
championed
on
and signed
January
by
6th?
Lyndon
Yes, I
Johnson,
remember that.
are on exhibition in the LBJ Library's Great Hall just above us.
That was
Those
planted by an
transformative
FBI
walls
agent?
are
Yeah, I remember
surrounded
that.
by iconic photographs of the activists who held the front lines of the civil rights movement and whose unyielding fearlessness in the face of racial tyranny helped bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice and a more perfect union.
Did they say racial
Among them is
purity?
Andrew Young, who stood by the side of Martin Luther King Jr. as a lieutenant in the movement they forged as much as any.
Is this guy a Nazi?
Upon awarding Ambassador Young the Medal of Freedom, President Jimmy Carter said, "Andy Young is the brightest star."
He's like a woke
in the
Nazi.
American
Like,
firmament.
okay, yeah.
He's a man who represents integrity and understanding, humility and purpose. He has carried on well the heritage of Martin Luther King. To introduce the President of the United States, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ambassador Andrew Young.
Oh, so this is the introduction to the introduction of the president. So this is the introduction of the president. Okay. Hey, Gorf, I've been thinking about you. I hope you're doing better, buddy. I can't hear this guy. It's not me, it's them.
Be sworn in for Congress. And there was another little fella in the Senate who was too young to get in. They had to wait 3 or 4 days till he turned 30 to swear him in as a United States Senator. For the last 50 years, he has devoted himself to fulfilling the dreams of the American people, all of them, rich, poor, black, white, red, green, gay, straight, whatever we are.
Whatever.
I'm here.
All these identities.
Reminding you
notice
that
how
if
he
you
didn't
live
just
long
say
enough,
Americans.
all of us are gonna be
We're all
handicapped one
Americans.
day.
No, he had to go through all the identity shit.
But few
because that's how
people
these
have been
people
able to
fucking live their
thrive
life.
and succeed in the midst of so much pressure and tension and responsibility as Joe Biden.
Hey guys, America is the most racist country ever, and America is also a country where Kamala Harris can win as president. Right? That's these same people. The same people that think America is the most racist country ever are also the same people that think a black retarded woman can win as president.
And I was thinking what I should say, and I said, I think that is a promise fulfilled in the life of the 46th President of the United States, Joseph Biden.
Boo.
Mr. President.
Boo. Boo. I'm Joe Biden. Where am I? I'm Joe Biden. Right, I'm Joe Biden. Anyway, never mind.
Thank you, really. Thank you. Please.
I wish you good luck, bro. I'm glad you're finishing up your
Thank you,
treatment.
Mr. Ambassador.
I'm glad that you're going through your treatment, bro. Hopefully good things come out of it. We're all pulling for you, brother.
Mr. Ambassador, thanks for that introduction, and above all, for your friendship over the years. There's literally one word that comes to mind every time I think of Andy Young. The word's integrity.
Integrity.
Absolute integrity.
Integrity.
And thank you to the Johnson family for carrying forward the legacy of a truly great president and first lady. Your mom was incredible as well. The same goes to Mark Upgrove, president of the LBJ Foundation. It's great to be back here. I thank you all and distinguished guests gathered here today. Look, I was in college at the University of Delaware in our early beginning years when I heard the news of that President Kennedy had been assassinated. I remember exactly like anybody in my generation, was exactly where they were sitting, standing, or walking.
If Kennedy were assassinated today, they would ban it from the internet for being a manipulated video.
I was on the steps of one of the university halls called Hullion Hall at the university, listening on a transistor radio with 3 other people. Seemed unbelievable.
I'm going to go get me some integrity now.
Watching President Johnson
Integrity Farm
help the nation find a way forward. In his first address after the tragedy, President Johnson said, and I quote, "Nothing could more eloquently honor President Kennedy's memory than the earliest passage of the Civil Rights Bill." That's what he said. As a kid coming up, I always admired President Johnson for his public service, whether as a school teacher in South Texas, master of the United States Senate, historic vice president and president. His philosophy was simple. In a great society, no one should be left behind. He'd say, "It's time for us to come to see that every American gets a decent break and a fair chance to make good." And as Andy Young said, President Johnson met repeatedly with the civil rights leaders and built a coalition.
The sign language training keeps getting balder and balder.
He brought it to life. Over 50 years,
yeah, fuck Joe Biden.
The LBJ Foundation has convened this symposium to reflect one of the crowning achievements, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, a defining moment that has since opened doors of opportunities for all Americans, regardless of race, sexual orientation, gender identity, religion, national origin.
The Civil Rights Act together affirmative action, which led to DEI.
These 3 landmark
which led to
laws
a bunch of airplanes crashing.
Are remarkable in their scale and their scope. Taken together, these 3 acts have made this nation fundamentally more fair, fundamentally more just, and most importantly,
fundamentally more consistent with our founding principles.
I agree that all people should be treated equally. I agree, Joe.
And we're a better nation because of them. We must be clear. Their work, our work, is not done. It's not done. We do not celebrate these laws as part of our past, but as critical components of our future. President Johnson understood what President Lincoln understood in his own time, that the courts would determine the scale and scope of our laws. Over 100 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, President Johnson vowed, in his words, to do this job that Lincoln started, by challenging the court to live up to its constitutional responsibility. He did that by nominating Thurgood Marshall as the first black justice of the Supreme Court. And by aggressively defending civil rights throughout the courts. Why are we yelling? But now, we live in a different era. In recent years, extreme opinions that the Supreme Court has handed down have undermined long-established civil rights principles and protections.
Civil rights
2013, the Supreme Court in Shelby County case gutted the Voting Rights Act, opening the floodgates to a wave of restrictive voting laws that have seen
they're
states
a little crazy,
across
but they're
the
cool.
country pass.
I like my bitches crazy.
In 2022,
so I like them, of course,
the court overruled Roe v. Wade, the right to choose, that had been the law of the land for 50 years. 50 years. The following year, the Supreme
everybody
Court
knew that it would get reversed because its fucking foundations were terrible.
Nearly 50 years as well. And now, there's an extreme movement.
You have to do mental gymnastics to say that the Eighth Amendment applies to abortion. You have to basically redefine every word in the Eighth Amendment to make it fit abortion.
An agenda called Project 2025.
Right. Let me tell you how bad this argument was. Their argument was that because because the Eighth Amendment protects your right to privacy, right, that abortion is a private matter between a girl and her doctor, and therefore the Eighth Amendment should protect that, right? Right? But, yeah, that's pretty shaky ground to begin with.
By the way, they're serious, man. They're planning another onslaught attacking civil rights in America. For example, Project 2025 calls aggressively attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion all across all aspects of American life. This extreme MAGA movement even proposes to end birthright citizenship. That's how far they've come.
What? He just said birthright citizenship. Now, he meant birthright, but he said that they want to end the birth rate. That's actually what they're doing. The Democrats are trying to poison you so that you don't have babies, so you won't notice them shipping in the third world by the millions.
Birthright citizenship, which if you're born in America, you're an American citizen. That's how extreme these guys are. This issue and so many other civil rights that Americans take for granted are likely to come before the court in the years to come.
Now, I don't agree with that. I think that if you were born in America, you're an American.
The Supreme Court established in Trump versus the United States a dangerous precedent. They ruled, as you know, that the President of the United States has immunity for potential crimes.
From what?
He may have committed while in office. Immunity.
What is that? What is that for?
This nation was founded on the principle there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law. And for all practical purposes, the court's decision almost certainly means that a president can violate their oath, flout our laws, and face no consequences. Here's what Justice Sotomayor, Supreme Court Justice, wrote in her dissent, and I quote, "Under the majority's reasoning, the president now will be insulated from criminal prosecution. Orders a Navy SEAL team seeks to assassinate a political rival. Immune. Organizes a military coup to hold on to power. Immune.
I don't
Takes a
think they said
bribe
that.
in exchange for a pardon. Immune.
But that's how Biden sees it, and that's why he thinks that he can assassinate Donald Trump and get away with it, and why he's going to stage a military coup to stay in power. You watch. It's going to be spicy. This year of America is going to be spicy, guys.
In every use of official power, the president is now a king above the law. Just what Justice Sotomayor wrote in her dissent. Folks, just imagine
this fucking guy.
what the president could do in trampling civil rights and liberties given such immunity. The court's being used to weaponize an extreme and unchecked agenda. This decision is a total affront to the basic expectations we have for those who wield the power in this nation, that they are expected to be wholly accountable under the law. The president is no longer constrained by the law, and only limits on abuse of power will be self-imposed by the president alone. That's a fundamentally flawed view and a fundamentally flawed principle.
And a fundamentally flawed interpretation of what the Supreme Court actually said.
A dangerous principle on top of its extreme decisions.
But that's how these Democrats see it. Look, listen, they're telling you that this is how they see the world now, that the president can do this. And guess who the president is? This is the president telling you that he believes he has the power to do all these things to you.
The court is mired in a crisis.
This is very dangerous.
These scandals involving the justices have caused public opinion to question the court's fairness and independence that are essential to faithfully carrying out its mission of equal justice under the law.
Tell us about your record, Joe. Nah,
there are documented reports of a decades-long effort to reshape the judiciary,
come out here and fearmonger,
including the Supreme Court backed by shadow special interests that also support projects.
Just like your campaign is.
Undisclosed gift to justice is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars from wealthy
like all the
benefactors
illegal
who have interest before the very court they're contributing.
From China through your son.
Conflicts of interest from those connected to January 6th insurrectionists. And a blatant attack on nominating and confirming justices of the court itself. Do you all remember when Justice Scalia died in February of 2016? And the Republicans blocked the president's nomination, President Obama's nomination, to fill that vacancy for nearly a year by making up an entirely new standard that there be no...
Just like you guys make up entirely new standards every day. Just like YouTube makes up entirely new standards every day.
No confirmation
Just like
to
you
the
guys
court
redefine
during
words.
election year. But then, when Justice Ginsburg died in 2020, Republicans rushed through the President Trump's nominee at the very same time votes were being cast in an election that Trump would lose. It's outrageous. I know I don't look it, but I served in the Senate for 36 years. Including as chairman and ranking member of the Judiciary Committee. I've been told that I've overseen more Supreme Court nominations as senator, vice president, and president than anyone in history, anyone alive today, I should say. I have great respect for our institutions and the separation of powers laid out in our Constitution. But what's happening now is not consistent with that doctrine of separation of powers.
Looks like a burnt pirate.
Extremism is undermining the public confidence in the court's decisions.
Oh, okay.
As soon as I came to office,
What about the tranny in the fucking little window next to him? Talk about a butt pirate.
I convened a bipartisan presidential commission on the Supreme Court of the United States,
The bipartisan
comprised of leading constitutional scholars, both liberal and conservative, to provide recommendations on potential reforms to the court. I've been careful in these deliberations because these are serious, serious decisions. In the face of increasing threats to American democratic institutions, I use the Commission's analysis, and today I'm calling for 3 bold reforms to restore trust and accountability to the court and our democracy.
We already read about all
The
this.
press shouted to me as I got off Air Force One.
Skip.
The Republican Speaker of the House said, whatever he proposes is dead on arrival.
Yeah.
Well, I think his thinking is dead on arrival.
Yeah, I think your brain is dead on the level.
In fact, the United States is the only major constitutional democracy that gives lifetime seats in their high court. Term limits would help ensure that the court membership changes with some regularity.
Joe Biden coughs more than me, and I'm smoking hash.
That would make timing for the court's nomination more predictable and less arbitrary. Reduce the chance that any single presidency imposes undue influence.
What the fuck is he on about?
The bipartisan commission.
Looks like the ice cream is worn off, guys. Joe is slipping. He's deteriorating fast in this speech. And it's painful to watch. It's painful to watch. This is the perfect embodiment of the death of our democracy, is watching this guy just like fucking unravel live on stage every time.
I convened, analyzed various term limit structures. Based on their report, I believe the best structure is the 18-year term limit.
What? The 80-year term limit? I think he said 80-year term limit? What?
That would help ensure the country would not have what it has now. An extreme court that's the product of an attack on the confirmation process that's been weaponized by those seeking to carry out an extreme agenda for decades to come.
What the fuck has he been saying? I don't know.
These guys mean it. These guys mean it. Project 2025 is real.
Yeah. Project 2025 is from the Heritage Foundation. It's a George Bush organization. The neoconservatives. They are against Trump, guys. These are the Never Trumpers. Project 2025, Heritage Foundation. They are the Never Trumpers.
Mean it. Third, I'm calling for a binding code of conduct for the Supreme Court.
Good thing that Joe Biden needs a constitutional amendment, and he will not get one.
Supreme Court.
Can you see all the states ratifying anything? Can you see California and Kentucky agreeing on any issue?
Current ethics code is weak and even more frightening, voluntary. Any code of Congress must be enforceable. Under the reform I propose,
he just said code of Congress instead of code of conduct. This guy is fucking, his brain is literally rotten tomatoes. He's got rotten tomatoes up there, guys. It's probably why he smells so bad.
More frightening, voluntary. Any code of Congress must be enforceable. Under the reform I propose, justice would be required to disclose gifts, refrain from public political activity, recuse themselves in cases in which they or their spouses have a financial or other conflict of interest. Most people don't realize.
Why can't we do this for the senators, right? I agree with all these things should be rules. They should be rules for the Senate. They should be rules for the House. They should be rules for the Supreme Court. Why just the Supreme Court and not the House and Senate?
That Congress passed the law decades ago.
Oh, I know why. Because the House and Senate have to vote for this, right? Right? The House and Senate will never vote to give themselves rules, but to put rules on the Supreme Court, who doesn't have a vote, just seems unconstitutional to me.
It says all federal judges.
Oh, yeah.
Including...
Well, isn't that how it's going to end then, right? That's how it's going to end. They'll pass the amendment and the Supreme Court will say this is unconstitutional. Case closed. Next.
Supreme Court justices have to recuse themselves in such cases. But the current justices insist on enforcing that requirement
Kathy
themselves
says, and
without
he
any
has the
public
launch codes.
oversight or compulsion. See, that's their decision. They don't have to tell us how they made it. That might work if the court was actually enforcing those requirements, but they are not. The court is not self-policing. The court is not dealing with the obvious conflicts of interest. We need a mandatory code of ethics for the Supreme Court, and we need it now.
We need those same rules applied to Congress and the Senate, to the House and Senate as well.
My fellow Americans, based on all my experience, I'm certain we need these reforms. We need these reforms to restore trust in the courts, preserve the system of checks and balances that are vital to our democracy. There are also common sense reforms that a vast majority of the American people support, as well as leading constitutional law scholars, progressive and conservatives.
I don't know.
I look forward.
I'm going to say Netflix. Netflix and Facebook.
Forward to working with the Congress to implement these necessary reforms. A number of members of Congress are here today.
What did he just say?
Implement these
Please repeat that, Mr. President.
I look forward to working with the Congress to implement these necessary reforms. A number of members of Congress are here today. Let me close with this.
Please.
President Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964 just 2 days before the 4th of July. He said in that bill signing, and I quote, "This is a proud triumph. Yet those who founded our country knew the freedom would be secure only if each generation fought to renew and enlarge its meaning," end of quote. That's what I've tried to do throughout my career, inspired by the cause of civil rights.
No, all you've done throughout your career is sell out to the fucking corporations. You're literally the senator from the state that corporations incorporate in to avoid paying taxes.
That's what got me involved.
Disney,
initially.
yes, I'll go with that.
My state was a state that was segregated by law. We were one who, only reason we didn't fight in the side of the South, we couldn't get there. I'm serious. What motivated me to be a public defender, a county councilman.
A public
I'll never
defender?
forget, I had a
God, I would have hated
good
to have
job
Joe
with
Biden as my
a
lawyer.
trial firm.
I wonder how many cases
And,
he lost.
In Delaware,
I'm going with all of them.
you have to study for the bar for 6 months before you're allowed to take it. And in the meantime, I was studying for the bar. That's when Dr. King was assassinated. We're the only state in the nation, city in the nation, that had the military stationed on every corner with drawn bayonets for 10 months. For 10 months.
What?
Insisting, because we had a very conservative Democratic governor. In those days, when the Democrats won, they could choose to be part of the Southern Governors or Northeast Governors Conference.
I don't know what he's saying at all.
They choose the Southern Governors Conference lots of times. But guess what? It got me engaged. I love how reading these biographies of me now that I knew I was going to run for president.
I have no idea what he's saying.
I remember walking in to the public defender's office, which was part-time at the time, and asking for an application because I wanted to join the public defender's office. And he looked
Nobody
at me and
knows
said,
what he's saying at all,
"Don't you
Gord."
work for Pickett Ward Burton Sanders?" I said, "Yeah." So why the hell would you want to do this? Not a joke.
Hey, what's up, Champemp?
But I said, "Let me do it." I became a public defender. Folks, here's the deal. Because I got engaged like a lot of you do, whether you run for office or not. You get engaged and you want to change things. So I kept trying to change the Democratic Party in my state, which is very conservative. And then a group of people came to me, as my senator knows, Chris Coons, came to me and said, "Look, we want you to run for state senate." I said, I can't go to Dover all the time. I'm just starting a law firm. I'm a part-time public defender."
Oh my
God! They
God,
came back to me and
this
said,
is so
"What's
painful to watch."
Council? I said, "I can't." They said, "You stupid SOB, it's right across the street there." I'm serious. Meets only twice a week. So my sister, my best friend, managed my campaign.
I think somebody just literally called bullshit on you.
We couldn't possibly win. No Democrat had ever won. But my problem was I had my sister doing my campaign.
Why are people all laughing?
And we won.
I don't even hear any jokes.
Next thing I know, I was part of a group assigned as young senators, young elected officials, to try to bring the party around to get someone to run for the United States Senate. And I was put on a commission. When you're the young lawyer, you get to turn the lights on and off after every meeting.
I think half of what the tranny's saying
And
is,
so
I don't know.
remember going down to the Democratic convention off year in Dover, Delaware. And after the afternoon session, went back and I was in my room. Just a nice motel you just drive up to, get out, walk in your door there. And you know, an 8x10 bathroom, a shower, and a stall. And I had my towel around me and the shaving cream on my face, and they were bam, bam, bam at my door. And I thought it was the guys that came down with. The guy was a real, had a talk show named Bob Cunningham, was a big civil rights guy. And two others. So I thought it was him. I walked, opened the door. There was a former governor, former Supreme Court justice, swear to God.
Guys, I'm sorry.
The state chairman and the former congressman. And they said, we just had dinner. Well, I said, I'm sorry, gentlemen. I walked in, I ran to the bathroom, shake the shave grip, thinking I could put something on. There wasn't anything here. I walked
The
back
check
out of the
engine
tunnel,
lights
standing
are on.
against a nail, a desk nail to the wall, and they're on the beds that are nailed to the headboard.
This is the guy who is in control of our armies right now. Guys, this is the commander-in-chief. We need 25th Amendment right now. This is bad. This is like the worst I've seen him. This is worse than the debate.
Four of them sitting across. I said, Joe, we were thinking you should run for the United States Senate. I said, gentlemen, you serious? And they went on and made their case. I hope all of you had a professor who's enlightened his mind. I had one professor named Dr. Ingersoll, my political philosophy professor at the University.
It is a laugh track, says Girl Gone Dog.
I was going home. So I called him, I could stop by and see him. And I said, what do you think I should do? He said,
I think you should fucking resign the office of the presidency, sir. Guys, 25th Amendment right now. Right now. We need the 25th Amendment, this guy. He should not be... This guy should not be running the country. This guy shouldn't even drive, right? This guy shouldn't even be allowed to operate the barbecue, okay? Not yet alone nuclear fucking weapons.
Remember what Plato said. I'm thinking, what the hell did Plato say? Seriously. So Plato said, the penalty good people pay for not being involved in politics is being governed by people worse than themselves. Went home and spoke to my deceased wife.
This
She's
is terrifying.
You're working 40 hours a week trying to set up a law firm, and you're working 40 hours a week as a public defender.
This is scary. This is the guy that has the final say. This is the decider.
Nixon won my state by 60% of the vote. We won by a staggering 3,800 votes. My point is, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But look, and I went on to be able to be, I had to wait a little bit to be sworn in. You got to be 30 to be sworn in. And then I was the vice president, the first African-American president in American history.
Yeah, be 25th Joe and you impeach her. That makes Mike Johnson.
Non-presidents were our first woman vice president.
I'm okay with that.
I've made clear how I feel about Kamala, and she's been an incredible partner to me, a champion.
Just imagine them coming to the president and being like, okay, Joe, okay, China just invaded Alaska, right? Like, what should we do? And he goes on talking about, well, you know, when I was a public defender, and we won by 3,500 votes, and no, not a joke, and you know, so well, I met a Chinaman once on the Amtrak, and like, really, seriously, imagine that.
Rights throughout her career, and she'll continue to be an inspiring leader and project this very idea of America. The very idea that we're all created equal and deserve to be treated equally throughout our lives. We've never fully lived up to that, but we've never walked away from it. We've never walked away because leaders like Lyndon Baines Johnson, my fellow Americans, In 2 years, we'll commemorate the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. That July 4th of 2026 will be a moment not only about our past, but about our future.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Imagine that moment
years, guys.
and ask yourself, what do we want to be? We can and must be protected and expand our civil rights in America.
What's the come on, everybody. What's your percent chance that America is still the country that it is today in July 4th, 2026? Like, what's your percentage? I'm going with like 90%, but you tell me.
We can and must prevent the abuse of presidential power and restore faith in the Supreme Court.
Anthony says
we can
49%.
and must strengthen the guardrails of democracy. We must have to remind ourselves who we are. We're the United States of America. And there is nothing beyond our capacity. Nothing when we do it together. So let's stay together, and God bless you all.
Oh, he's so wore out he can't even yell. Listen to how weak and frail he is.
God bless the whole family. Ladies and gentlemen, may God protect our troops. Thank you for listening.
Jeffrey says, I feel like we all just got butt raped by this idiot. Yeah. Hey, look, he knows which way to go. Wow. He walked off the stage to the right side, guys. That's amazing. That's one of the best exits we've seen from the president in a long time. Holy Harlot says 0%. All right, yeah. So that was our president, man. That was our president, man. All right, I'm just finding the where were we at? Okay. Okay, so, as you guys all know, there was a missile attack in northern Israel by Hezbollah over the weekend that killed some kids or whatever. So today, well, really last night. What's this?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Oh, no. Go away. So last night, Israel retaliates, and they kill more people. So everyone's afraid that there's going to be an all-out war between Lebanon and Israel. Girl Gone Dog says, I hope Putin sees this. Joe Biden being a piece of shit. Yeah, guys. That was really bad. Let's just take a minute to talk about that. Like, holy shit. What was that from the president, man? That was like some bad shit. Like, he couldn't even hold together words in a sentence to like get to a logical conclusion. I don't know. Like, if you ever talk to somebody that's high on LSD, like really high on LSD, and they like smash whole entire sentences into words, right? Like I don't know. And the slurring. He slurs so bad, right? I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's bad. I can't believe that guy is in charge of the country right now. Our enemies are watching, right? Like I said, like what can you imagine what would happen if they came to Joe Biden at 2 a.m? Like, we got to move right now, Mr. President. Something's happening and people are going to die, right? Like I said, China invaded Alaska, right? What do? It'll take probably 2 hours to get a coherent answer out of him, right? Like, can you imagine? Like, I could have an answer in 30 seconds, right? Like, okay, we nuke that part of Alaska or whatever, right? I have an answer. Boom. I don't know. I'm not all up on the strategy, right? But if I were president, I would be, and I would be able to come up with an answer, right? Like, well, start mobilizing forces now all over the country. Start moving them there. And what do we have up there? That would be my first question is, what do we have up there? But anyway, yeah, but could you imagine him being able to come up with that? Right? No. How can you symbolize the death of America better than that? That's what I was saying. Nothing embodies like the death of our fucking country, like watching Joe Biden deteriorate literally before our eyes, right? And I feel like this is fitting for the way in which he became president, that he has to literally crumble in front of our eyes while we laugh at him, right? Right? I mean, I feel like that's a fitting punishment for the crimes that he's committed in this world. They are going to try, girl, we work this time, though. It won't work this time. Okay. So, yeah, you guys think that they're going to try to steal the election again? It's possible. We're going to kind of get into that here in a little bit. But, yeah, no. There is a lot of sketchy shit going on with the election. How they switched Kamala out. We're about to talk about all that. Yeah, let's just talk about this for a little bit more. The Middle East, right, is also on fire. And I feel like that this is happening because America is weak right now, right? The Democrat Party had like a minor civil war inside of it. Trump got shot, right? The whole country, like everybody's at each other's throats. And, yeah, and our enemies are moving, right? Our allies. It doesn't matter. People are seeing the lack of might coming from U.S. leadership, and they're settling grievances now that there's nobody in charge, right? They're seeing that there's nobody in charge anymore, and old adversaries are settling old grievances. It's like the Hatfields and McCoys, right? Right? Now that the sheriff's gone, they're going to kill each other, right? I don't know. We're all watching. We're all watching, right? We're all watching. They can't just steal the election again. Like, we know that they're going to try this time, right? Like, everyone knows, right? Everyone knows, right? Well, you guys, I mean, now your imaginations are running wild, and anything can be true now, right? Like when nothing is real, anything can be true. You guys got to come back to reality a little bit, right? I'm not saying that they're not trying to do crazy shit, but what I am saying is that just take it with a grain of salt, right? Right? I agree. Next J6, we all go. I agree. All right. Here we go.
Two major players in Mexico's drug trade were arrested in El Paso, Texas after landing this plane. U.S. authorities caught drug kingpin Ismael Zambada, known as El Mayo, believed to be in his 70s, and Joaquin Guzman Lopez, who was in his 30s. There was a $15 million reward for Zambada's capture and a $5 million bounty on Guzman Lopez. They face multiple charges in the U.S. for funneling huge quantities of fentanyl and other drugs to U.S. streets. Fentanyl overdoses have surged to become the leading cause of death for Americans between the ages of 18 and 45. Guzman Lopez lured Zambada to the U.S., according to 3 current and former U.S. officials familiar with the operation, who sought anonymity to speak candidly about the events. Zambada pleaded not guilty and was ordered detained without bond, according to court records. Reuters could not immediately confirm a plea bargain deal had been struck, but if Zambada was betrayed by Guzman Lopez,
that's what everybody says.
Major ramifications for their operation known as...
Yeah, so it looks like Lopez, who is the son of El Chapo, right, set up Zambada, right, and gave him to the feds, like, informed on him before they landed in America, and Lopez is gonna walk now, right?
Is the Sinaloa cartel. Zambada is a co-founder of the Sinaloa cartel, along with Guzman Lopez's father, who is known as El Chapo, who is serving a life sentence in a maximum security prison for smuggling tons of drugs into the United States. According to U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, in recent years, the cartel has become the biggest target for U.S. authorities, who have accused the criminal syndicate of being the biggest supplier of fentanyl to the U.S.
Yeah, so this is pretty big news. This guy got busted. He got set up by his own people. That's the way it always goes down, isn't it? Huh? Isn't that the way it always goes down? It's the people closest to you that always set you up, right? Right? That always betray you. It's the people you trust the most that always get you. Speaking of which, Palestinians with terror ties detained after illegally crossing southern border. Agents overwhelmed. 3 Palestinian migrants who crossed into the United States illegally through the southern border were detained after they were found to have terrorist ties, according to media reports. Right? So, what a great job. And this is all under Kamala Harris's watch as the border liaison for the president or whatever, the czar. Technically, there's no such thing as a border czar, but whatever. Yeah. So, under Kamala, we have Palestinian terrorists just walking across the border, right? Coming to do a jihad on us here in America, right? And at the same time, right, UK police arrest a teenager after 8 stabbed in horrendous incident, right? So what I'm hearing is that, okay, so what it was like a Taylor Swift yoga dance party for like little girls, right? It was like an after school type of event, right? Taylor Swift wasn't there. It was like something you would do like at a rec center or something like that, right? Right? When you were a kid. Like a lock-in type event, right? But not that, but like that kind of event, right? And I don't know, some jihad guy did it, right? What they're saying is that it is some kind of brown guy that did the stabbing, right? A 17-year-old male. It's not being treated as terrorism related, though, and they are not looking for anyone else. So maybe it's not terrorism related, but that's what I heard. I also heard it was a 43-year-old guy. It turns out it was a 17-year-old guy they got. So that's why you never believe what you hear first, right? Take it with a grain of salt, whatever you hear first. Yeah, I heard probably Muslim too, but I don't know. Now, this is interesting, okay? So, they recently switched the top of the ticket on the Democrat Party from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris. Everybody knows that, right? But doing that has switched the polling demographics, right? And now it's very interesting what this guy is about to tell you. I saw this earlier today, and I thought you guys would find it interesting too. How we can look at certain counties, one in Georgia and one in Pennsylvania, and kind of get a real idea of how the political lines are being redrawn in this country. Okay, let's go. What happened? Aw, what happened? Hey, what's up, Steve? Well, our thing is not playing now. Hold on, let me refresh it. Okay, let's watch this again. Okay, here we go.
In politics, we know the presidential campaigns are spending lots of time in battleground states, but it gets even more granular than that. There are battleground counties which could swing the whole outcome of this year's election. Two of them are Gwinnett County, Georgia, and Erie County, Pennsylvania, where the polls were showing President Biden and former President Trump neck and neck. NBC News national political correspondent Steve Kornacki explains how those polls could change with a Harris-Trump matchup.
Well, you know, there are more than 3,100 counties in the United States of America. But as we begin this final 100 days till Election Day, we have reduced this to seven what we're calling decider counties. Each one tells an important story demographically about where the national race may be, where it may be going. And with Kamala Harris apparently set to replace Joe Biden as the Democratic nominee against Donald Trump, we thought we would look closely at two counties that loom particularly large now among this group of seven decider counties. So let's start in the state of Georgia. You're looking at Gwinnett County. This is just outside of Atlanta in that big, fast-growing Atlanta metro area. And of course, you know the story of Georgia, Republican state until 2020, when Joe Biden flipped it by the narrowest of margins, just under 12,000 votes. Now, the story this time around in Georgia has been that Donald Trump has been polling much better against Biden before Harris switched into the race. The hope for Democrats with Harris entering the race is that a county like Gwinnett, you're going to see a big expansion of her support relative to Biden with black voters, because Gwinnett is one of the most racially diverse counties in Georgia. It's about a third black. And the hope for Democrats is that Biden had been struggling a bit with black voters, that Harris doesn't, that she increases the black vote share relative to what Biden was getting, and that you'd see it in a place like Gwinnett. It's fast growing. It's getting more and more diverse. You could see just in 2016, it was a 6-point race in this county. Clinton over Trump, that exploded to 18 points, Biden over Trump. The Democrats are hoping they can expand this margin even further, and a key ingredient for them, if they do, is black voters. And again, the big picture hope for Democrats here is of all the core battleground states, Georgia, the polling in Georgia had looked particularly shaky for them. They're hoping, we'll see if this actually happens, that's another question, but Democrats are hoping that Harris's addition will change a place like Gwinnett and a state like Georgia. Now take a look at Pennsylvania. And again, any way you sort of slice the Electoral College math, Pennsylvania is extremely crucial, even among these battleground states, just because of its size, because of the number of electoral votes, the combinations it opens up and potentially shuts off for these candidates. Now, Erie County is one of only two counties in the entire state of Pennsylvania that switched between 2016, voted for Trump in 2016 to Biden, voted for Biden in 2020. Only two counties in Pennsylvania did. Of course, Pennsylvania itself as a state flipped from
so
Trump
we're talking about Erie
2016
County,
to
Pennsylvania
Biden in 2020. So this is sort of one of the swing counties of the swing state, one of the key swing counties of the key swing state.
Right,
and it's got a large
blue-collar
white population. White voters without college degrees, we talk about them so much. An area of growth for Republicans. Democrats have been doing worse and worse here with this demographic. The Erie County, you see a very large representation of that group of voters. And the question here for Kamala Harris is, can she make progress? Not just in a place like Gwinnett County, Atlanta, can she also do it in a place like Erie County, Pennsylvania? Because last two elections, as went Erie County, so went Pennsylvania.
Okay, there you go. So what they essentially said is that Trump has, okay, so in 2016, Erie County went for Trump, and so did Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, right? In 2020, Erie County went for Biden, so did Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, right? Now it's going for Trump, like hard, like has shifted really hard for Trump, right? And if that holds out, then not only will Trump win Pennsylvania, but he'll also likely win Michigan and probably Wisconsin, right? So, like, so that would be a thing for us to watch, is Erie County, right? But Pennsylvania itself is getting narrow. The whole fucking thing is, it's too early. Now that they switched Kamala out, or Kamala for Biden, it's too early to know by looking at the polls. I can't make any sense of it at all. The numbers are all over the place, right? Right now. But hopefully this and here is an example of how they cheated this election, right? Harris considers 3 for VP as Biden steps down, right? So essentially, right, the 3 people that she's picking are Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, right? That's a state that Trump has flipped this year. Governor Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania, right? And Minnesota Governor Tim Walz for the Midwest, right? So what she's doing is they switched the candidate midstream, right? To wipe out all the negative press from Biden. Then now they know where they're weak at, right? And so they're going to try to pick a vice president from one of these places where they're weak at. Now, this is very tricky because their best pick, right? Like, they can win without Arizona, right? If they get Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Minnesota, if they get Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Virginia, they don't need Arizona or Georgia, right? They don't need Arizona or Georgia if they get Virginia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Minnesota, right? And maybe they need Nevada too in that calculation, but they absolutely cannot win. The Democrats absolutely. There is no path to victory without Pennsylvania, right? Right? They have to get Pennsylvania, right? So I think that they're going to pick Shapiro, and that's going to backfire tremendously on them because Shapiro might play good in Pennsylvania, but he's not going to play good in Michigan or Minnesota or Wisconsin, right? Because Democrats there are super fucking woke, right? And like that's like we're the wokest of the woke. Some of the woke, like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, like their wokies are the wokest of the woke, right? And I definitely know that that Kamala will lose Michigan if she picks Shapiro, because all the crazy jihadis, right? Even though it's only 1 or 2%, right? Like that's all they need to lose, right? If half of those people don't vote for Kamala or stay home or whatever that voted last time, they lose Michigan, right? Yeah, well, I don't know. It could turn out good. Here let's look at it, okay? We'll just go straight to that. All right. So, Arizona, Trump is still way ahead. Florida, Trump is still way ahead. Georgia, Trump is slipping. Trump has lost about half of his lead in Georgia already since Kamala switched, right? Michigan, hasn't really changed at all. Minnesota, where it was a narrow in Minnesota, now it's flipped completely back to Harris, right? Nevada is still very strongly Donald Trump. It may have trended down a point or two, but not really. It's still like strongly Donald Trump, right? North Carolina has slipped a little bit. Pennsylvania is slipping now. Now Pennsylvania is going down, right? It had been going up since Pennsylvania had been going up since June. No, not June. Let's say April, right? Slowly creeping up. But now it's starting to go back down. I noticed that last week, and I noticed it this week too, right? They're only at 2.2, where they were at a high, I think, of like 3.8% in Pennsylvania. This is 270 to win. These are averages of the last 5 major polls, right? The thing is that some of these states don't even have 5 polls with Harris and Trump, right? Let's see. Yeah, okay. Now, here's where we are at. Wisconsin, right? It just keeps wobbling. It's hard to tell. It keeps wobbling from slightly Biden to a tie to slightly Trump. We're in the slightly Trump wobble, right? Maine has shifted completely back to Harris. It was like a narrow victory for Trump, maybe, right? The whole state had flipped red, but now half of it, the three points have flipped back to Biden, and the 1 point is still Trump, right? In the 1 point, Trump's up by like 25% in the 1 point district. In the 3 point district, Biden or Harris is up immensely. Yeah. Virginia has flipped back from Trump to Harris now, right? But we don't have enough polls, right? Let's look at the polls. Oh, they don't like my ad blocker. Continue without disabling, please. Yeah, we don't have enough polls, right? And in the most recent Virginia, Trump is ahead, but that means nothing. That's from the 18th, right? None of these polls mean anything now, right? So we have no idea how this is going to play out, guys, okay? There's just no way to know right now, right? Here's Georgia. Trump up by 5 in the most recent poll. So I don't think that Harris's play in Georgia is going to pan out. But we're terrified if, like that newscaster said, if Erie County, Pennsylvania flips for Harris, they have a good shot at winning, right? Here we're going to look at the Electoral College. Okay. They still have Trump up just barely, right? By the aggregate in each state, the average, I should say. Now, right, like I said, they have Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania all for Harris, right? They have Virginia for Harris, but I say it's a toss-up. Now what? I say Virginia's too close to call. I say Wisconsin's too close to call, right? Michigan's too close to call. right? And Pennsylvania, I don't know why they're giving it to Harris. It's still strongly Trump, right? It's still at least leaning Republican, right? Right? So I would say that right now Harris has 209 and Trump has 291. I would say that that's more likely. That's more likely how it looks right now, from what I can see, right? Honestly, Georgia is too close. We don't know. We don't know, really, honestly, Georgia either, right? So that's 275 to 209, Trump, right? I would say that that's a more accurate picture of what's going on right now. Steve is thinking about strippers and opiates. Well, that's a good time. That's a good time. Now, the Kamala cringe is off the fucking charts, dude. Here's Kamala educating us all about the differences between equity and equality.
It has to be about a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, some folks might need more. Equitable distribution. Giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. So there's a big...
Yeah, well, yeah, but why does race have to be a part of that, right? Like I come from poor people too, right? Just because I'm a Jewish white kid, like doesn't mean that I haven't had it bad, right? So why should only women or only black people get an extra help, right? Why don't we help everybody, right?
Big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody
should get the same thing, because you don't know everybody's circumstances, right? You can't tell that, I can't tell by looking at you that you come from a rich family, right? Right? I mean, I kind of can tell by the way you talk and how stupid you are. But besides that, right, I have to really get to know you before I can tell that, right? I think that we should share, if what we give to one, we should give to all, right? When I was a little kid, you split everything equally, right, with your sisters and shit, right?
Out in the same place. As opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place.
Yeah, but you can't, no matter what you give to people for free, you can't make them successful, right? And no matter how much talent and will you have, right, you can't be successful without a little bit of help, right? So, why don't we instead try to support people with good ideas and help everyone else, help everyone equally, right? Right? Why don't we give everyone all the help that they need? Why don't we just pick a group and say, for reason X, you deserve more help?
And if you then understand not everybody started out in the same place, you understand some people need more. So we all end up in the same place, right? We are proud of the fact.
Yes. The poorest places in this country are majority white. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? The poorest neighborhoods are rural neighborhoods that are almost entirely white. Right? Where some people don't even have plumbing.
That equity
There's places exist still. Right? Just down the road in Kentucky, it's like that.
Right, guiding principles. Proud of the fact that we understand equality is important, but not everybody starts out on the same base. We see that people in our country are happy.
Let's see what people say about that. Her father was a certified communist professor. She lived in Canada from age 12 to 20. Moved back to the U.S. just in time to start dating Willie Brown. I guess we should all be excited we'll end up being VP just like her, right? Hey, what's up, Mythos? Yeah, West Virginia also. Arkansas. Alabama. All those places. Oh, wait. Now, I know I have a lot of evil white women. Well, this message is for you, you evil, racist white women. Here you go.
This is a message for every single person who looks like me. Specifically, white women.
Oh, I thought you meant dumb, stupid fatties. Okay. Not so. They don't have to be dumb and fat and stupid like you, just white. Okay.
It's time. This is no longer about politics, and you get to right your wrongs of 2016 when you didn't put a woman in the White House who was overly qualified.
Yeah, so now, because you didn't put an overly qualified woman in the White House, now you have to put an underqualified woman in the White House. It's the only way. It's the only way to atone for your sins, white women.
Now's your chance. You did not stand behind black women, people of color, immigrant families, differently abled people.
Baby, it looks like all you've been standing behind is the buffet counter.
None of them. You said, I matter more than you in
Yeah, well, do your chins matter too?
2016. Not anymore. You have the chance to again put an overly qualified person.
Overly qualified. Kamala is overly qualified, guys.
In a seat that they absolutely deserve because they are willing to go to bat for you and everyone around you. This is no longer about red versus blue.
No, this is about you need a diet. Honey, we're having an intervention for you. Stop. What did the evil white women do to you, honey? Did they make you eat pie? Did they give you double chins? Did they steal all your titties and put you on the itty bitty titty committee? Aw, did they make you ugly and retarded?
This is our lives that we are playing with. And the piece that you have control over is who you vote for in November. You need to find a spine to stand up against.
Bitch, you need to find a spine to stand up and tell the buffet guy, no, I don't need 5 slices of ham.
Against the white men in your life who are telling you.
Oh, of course. Guys, it's all the white men's fault. White women, all you white women out there, you know that you don't have an opinion or the faculties to vote in a booth by yourself. It's the white men in your life that make all your decisions for you, right? Well, except for this big fat cow, because no one will touch her, right? So, of course, she's blaming white men, right? Because she doesn't know any, right? The only guys that she knows are, like, married black dudes that bang her while their wife is, like, out at the fucking grocery store, right?
Who should be your president? This is not the last thing that I will say on this topic. Obviously, it's just the first.
Well, it should be the last thing you say, period, honey.
And this is the earliest that I could get online to be able to post this TikTok. But I am so ready because I know for a fact that I would rather live in a season of Veep than a season of.
Okay, let's see what the internet had to say about her. I'm a white woman and I'm voting for Trump. Yeah, it's probably just because your husband is standing there watching you type. Oh, no. That fan is making me dizzy. Isn't that what somebody just said? She needs to call the asshole who put the lighter side of their ceiling fan blade facing down and gave that illegal immigrant hell. Yeah, that's what this person say. That ceiling fan is making me dizzy. It's there to hypnotizing you into voting for Kamala. All right, more Kamala cringe, guys. Oh, guys, this is a literal advertisement for Kamala Harris. This is literally something that she made.
She can get bills passed in Congress that'll protect me and you. Black, white, Latino, Asian, or LGBTQ. She can get this country back.
Your eyes! Look at it!
Keeping a safe from harm without feeling a wow. 'Cause she's a woman, W-O-M-A-N. I'll say it again. She's a woman, K-A-M-A-L-A.
Oh my God, I want to puke. My eyes. No, seriously, guys. And what's hilarious is none of these people singing are a woman, but they're all celebrating Kamala being a woman, right? Like, I don't get it. Like, they're mocking womanhood with these dudes in dresses screaming about Kamala being a woman, right? But then again, you know, of course men will make a better video than women. I mean, men do everything better than women, so it doesn't surprise me that, you know, they would pick men to be the women in their videos because, like, men do everything better. Right? Right? Am I right? Okay. Now, okay. Welcome to Kamala. She's sitting on a coconut because she just fell out of a coconut tree, guys. Camelot. Okay. Oh, wait. If you thought that song was bad, if you thought that last song was bad, where do you hear this one? Play it.
Enemy. A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Look out, Donald. Things are gonna change. The old attacks that you planned for Joe, you're gonna have to rearrange. You got a new enemy in your way of your taking over the USA. She's tall and strong and younger too. Your very worst nightmare has just come true. And she's black.
Oh my God. Please make it stop. Okay. Play this, you sexy bitch. What do we got? Yeah, no, it's terrible. Okay, I'll play some more of it.
Female. Rooga, 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 boo. She'll scare the living daylights out of you.
Oh my God.
'Cause she'll stand up proud and say what's true about
my God,
what as
this is terrible.
president she's gonna do.
Hey, it's
She's
me.
going to protect our democracy, Donald, the one that you want to take away. And she's gonna win. She's gonna win. Here's what I heard her say today in a speech at the
Whoa! What the fuck? That's awesome! Do it again. Wow, that's so cool. Wow, thank you. That is awesome. What did you do? How the fuck did you do that? Ah. Oh, that's cool as fuck, man. Thank you for that. You're fucking awesome, blind dude. AI, huh? That's awesome. All right, let's watch the next one.
Grab her by the pussy. I've done my research and I know he's not gonna win in 2024. He's a racist. And might I add, grab her by the pussy? Sounds pretty misogynistic to me.
You sound like a fucking crazy person right now, sir.
Gen X? Checkmate, I'd like to say. You hold nothing over me. Nothing. You're all so weak and pathetic.
We're weak and pathetic. Gen X. That's most, I gotta think, I'm a millennial. I think you guys are Gen X, though, right? Most of my viewers, I think, are Gen X or millennial.
Gen X, millennials, baby boomers, even.
Oh, now you're calling me
I've
out,
done my
you
research.
fat old faggot.
Tons of research.
You
on
fat,
Trump,
crazy
actually.
faggot.
I knew
You
about it before he was
effeminate
even big
fat
in
faggot.
2013. right before he entered the election, might I add. He was a nobody to you guys, and now you worship him like a god. You guys are so crybabies.
Crybabies, at least we're not crazy, ugly Oompa Loompas. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with these people? And why do they always look like that, right? Like, why are all their videos always like that, right? Like, this is what we're up against. This fucking shit.
He's a racist. And, might I add?
I gotta say, Donald Trump is a terrible racist. You know, for being such a racist, he did such a terrible job at being a racist that he let black people and Jews play on his golf course, which in turn opened up the whole entire pro golf tour to blacks and Jews, which in turn led to Tiger Woods becoming the world champion the very next year. God, he's such a terrible he's the worst racist. If Donald Trump if Donald Trump is a racist, he's a terrible, terrible racist. I think this kid is playing. His laugh is fake. Yeah, everything about these people is fake, right? You should never let blacks and Jews do anything of importance, so let them golf, I guess. Oh, thank you. Thank you, SD. Yeah, a Jew won the thing too a few years ago. So yeah, Ronnie, he was good to black people. Let's see what the internet has to say about this fucking crazy psychopath. Wasn't this the dude that put out a video of himself crying when Biden dropped out? I don't know. I think so. Correct. Same. Yes. Here he is crying. Yeah, the kid's fake, obviously. Oh, well, it's not here. Okay. I can't get it. Okay, whatever. Fuck that guy. All right, next. Mark Hamill. Join me along with Pete Buttigieg and Governor Roy Cooper. All these other people, countless others, all get dedicated to electing Kamala Harris as the next POTUS. White dudes for Harris. Let's do our part and help elect Kamala.
If you thought Joe Biden was radical, just wait until you get to know Kamala Harris. She's dangerously liberal.
I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. You know, for far too long, the status quo thinking has been to believe that by putting more police on the street, you're going to have more safety. And that's just wrong.
You're confident this border's secure?
We have a secure border. We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct.
People who are convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation. Abolish ICE. Yeah, that.
We should have that conversation. That doesn't mean yes, right? That just means that she'll say anything without saying anything. She just basically said, I'm open to opening dialogue up into opening dialogue up about opening dialogue, right? I mean, to be fair, right? Like, if it was them doing that to Trump, I would say the same exact things, right? Okay. Guys. Just when you thought the songs couldn't get any worse.
Her name is Kamala. It's someone named Kamala. And truly, since I've begun to learn all she's done, I see she deserves that spot. Also, I learned it's no, not Kamala. So think of it like Kamala, because Kamala, she's good for America and popular as she was. Well, now Kamala's popularity will grow.
Actually, this girl sings really, really good. I really love the way she sings and looks, and I want to love her. But she's saying stupid things. But I love the way she sings and looks and sings and looks.
Cause we know how much she's gonna be helping Joe.
It sounds so great.
After all, there is nobody astuter when she was a prosecutor. Tough but fair, she really found her niche. And then she fought for rights and justice when it came to serving in the Senate. Where I come from, she'd make a very good witch. She was her.
She is a witch. It's nice that they let her sing despite her disability. Oh my God, that's perfect. You get a heart, mister. We're going to follow this guy. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Okay. Let's see here. Preaching to the already hopeless, Dems. Hun, wearing your hair that way doesn't hide the neck wrinkles, just the opposite. Oh, come on. I think she's beautiful. Now, for some reason, I'm getting Dylan vibes. Oh, come on. Come on. Someone put a sexual organ in her mouth, SD says. Ah! These are our two least favorite people, Jeffrey Marsh and Dylan. Well, it's fitting that this tune was reworked from the play Wicked, so I think it's perfect for Kamala. Oh, is that where it comes from? Okay, great. That's disturbing. I thought it was a pretty song. I thought the girl singing was pretty and that her voice was pretty. The song was stupid, but I like the girl and I like the song. I like the singing, I should say. Okay. Oh my God. What are we looking at here? Stop it. What are we looking at? I don't even know. Let's see here. These two make some really powerful statements about why they are voting for Kamala. Uh-oh. Oh, God.
Kamala or Trump?
Kamala. Let's see what you got. Oh, make America great.
Oh, yeah, I'm full Trump. But who are you voting for?
Probably Kamala.
And could I ask just why? I'm curious, what has she done as VP that you love?
It's nothing. I'm not voting because of her.
Okay.
Or for her. Basically, it's to vote against Trump because I'm scared of Trump. Very weird.
What would you say that people refer to her as a DEI hire? That she was only hired because she has the skin color and the gender that Joe Biden wanted? You don't agree with that?
I don't have any comment.
No comment? Do you have a comment?
I think she's a woman, and I think that's a great thing.
I don't think she's qualified.
Yeah.
I think she was hired because she was black, not because she was qualified.
That's
and
true.
Good luck.
We need a stronger person, like Trump. We need Trump.
Yeah, we do.
We need Trump back. We need a real man.
We definitely don't.
Oh, we need Trump back. We need a real man. We need a real man as president.
We do. I agree. And that's a good place to leave it for now, guys. Right? Right. So that was the show. I hope you guys liked it. I hope everybody had fun. I'm going to be writing code. More code. Still writing code. It's a hard work. It's really hard. It's getting really hard. Just like the amount of work just to change a little bit of code is getting crazy. And it's making me frustrated. And it's very tedious. It has become very tedious. But I'm cracking away at it, guys. Yeah. And remember, guys, I'm doing the best I can, even though YouTube has blackballed my channel and took my other channel away and everything. So if you guys do want to support the channel, this is how you can do that. I left some stuff in the chat. It's in the description also. That would be awesome. Yeah. Yeah, and then let's see. So yeah, I'm just writing code. I've got something like 80 something days. I got like 86 days. I have to get this out. So, yep, that's what I'm going to be doing. So the target date, I believe, is October 17th for the launch of the project. I want to get at least a month of testing in before that. So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we got to launch on the 17th with whatever we have. Okay, so, I will see you guys soon. Yes, I am, Mythos. I'm just plugging away on it. I can't wait to be done with it so I can start doing fun stuff. Yep. All right, guys. Well, thank you, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.